Hello, some technical difficulties there. We started, and now it looks like it started for real this time. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the AusComX Show. We are here tonight to talk to Lauren Marshall. So, hopefully, we are actually live this time because it didn't go live last time.
I don't think we are.
Oh, it says that we're live. Refresh the screen. Hopefully, we are live. Someone in the comments tell us if we're live.
Spedsy. Chips.
Spedsy.
Oh, there we go.
We're live.
Oh, yeah, we're live. Yes,
Woo!
we're live. Okay, let's try this again. Let's start the show. We still need some music on that part.
Just kidding.
We're having some technical difficulties tonight. This is the second time we've started. So, hello, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm pumped.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming back.
It's like deja vu. What's going on?
It's a good start.
I'm glad Kerry told me she wasn't seeing anything then, because I would have just kept going.
Is this the bit where we say the first version was the best version and no one will ever see that? It was amazing.
No one will ever see it.
Yeah,
it's gone.
It was awesome. Sorry about that, guys. You just got second best.
Cool.
So I'll let you start the questions, Morgan, while I just go through the comments here.
Cool. All right. So welcome, Lauren. Welcome to the first ComX show for 2021.
Thank you.
I suppose we should start. Would you like to give a little introduction about who you are in the comic sense, or just generally, philosophically, whatever you want? And yeah, maybe how did you get started in comics or illustration generally? Go for it.
Yeah, cool. Go. My name's Lauren. I'm 33 years old. I'm from Perth, West Australia, and yeah, Lauren, 33, Perth, Western Australia. And oh God, how did I get into the industry? That is a roundabout question for me in terms of telling it. So I always studied art. Mum was a big traditional artist. She did a lot of charcoal nudes and a lot of portraiture work and stuff like that. So I followed her footsteps in terms of creativity. I went to high school. Thanks, Darren. I did not a diploma. It's a scholarship at school for art. So which led into my TE art, which is now ATAR art or ATAR or not TE anymore. Sorry, you can show my age there. But yeah, did all that and did my TE in art, finished year 12, and then I actually decided to study animation after high school. So I got my diploma in animation at a school in Fremantle, which specialized in film and television. And that was awesome. And then I think there was only like a very intense, short 9-month course where we learned how to do 2D, 3D, storyboarding, voice artist stuff, sound, video, which was really cool. But then realized there's no actual job for animation particularly easily in Perth, especially back then. So that was like 2006. 2007.
Oh, wow.
So
that was a world away.
Yeah, that's so
the old
it was
times.
either the old times. It was either I moved to eastern states or I moved to overseas, which I wasn't completely comfortable at that age to do so because super family orientated. So decided to let that dream go for a little bit. It's not like I won't revisit it at any time, but being the nerd I grew up with a big brother who loved Transformers, Ninja Turtles, and therefore I followed suit. So next best, taking my learnings from that diploma into more static art. So basically sequentials is kind of like fancy storyboarding. So fell in love with that, which is awesome. And yeah, so now I'm just big in making basically some footsteps in the indie comic scene, and then obviously trying to get into the bigger stuff. If I could do a turtle cover, then my dreams would be made. That would be awesome. But that's a goal for the future for sure.
Awesome.
So, Lauren, what would you say is your favorite part? Well, this is probably a very broad question. Favorite part of doing comics? Would it be just are we just going to say drawing?
No, I don't need drawing. I'll get by without it. But no, character design I really like. I really do love character design.
Cool.
But if it was something that's actually comic specific, then it would probably be the storytelling of like the sequential stuff. Like while it is incredibly grinding and time, it takes up so much time to be able to do it. But it's being able to nail a sequence of images and get the emotions and the body language right. That's so tricky, but once you do it correctly, then it's just like a little bit of a high that you get. So storytelling in general is just awesome. So that's probably my biggest thing.
Yeah, you're amazing at anatomy. Yeah.
So that's not something you would normally say outside of comics, though. Let's just keep that.
Oh, yeah, this is true.
You're amazing. So let's dig right in. So if you're, I'm fascinated by artists and the way you guys work and all that sort of stuff, mainly because I can't. Well, you'll see later on. Maybe we can, but anyway, we'll see. Let's say you've got a script or you've got an idea and you're starting with a fresh page. Or even a fresh panel. What's the first thing you start with? Do you start with character, background, the squiggly head things, and the?
It depends what the panel's asking for, to be honest. Like, what's the prominent feature of the thing? Like, obviously, you're given either a scenery setup or you're given a character setup. And what is the most prominent thing that panel is meant to portray? So, say like with young Rufus, the panel I was given was the first page was a full scenery shot. It was just one panel. That was it. That took up the full spread on the page. And it was about creating the atmosphere. It was about creating the scenery and stuff like that. While Rufus, what is the main focus of not only the story, but he is the main character, but the whole scenery was like a big thing. So you got to think about it like, what is the composition? What is the structure? What are your eyes leading to? That's what you got to think about. So I thought, for that scene, you've got to go, okay, so Australian landscape, what's the biggest thing? It's going to be red dirt and gum trees or some native plants and stuff like that. And then you've got your characters and then they're pointing out a particular feature in the story. So that is another pinpoint that you have to do. So I've got 3 points. So I've got either the environment that's going to encapsulate everything, and then you've got down the bottom is your characters, and then right in the middle, smack bang, what they're looking at and what you want the reader to look at is going to be that pinpoint. So it's all about creating it's just like a normal piece of artwork. Like, what is the focal point? And then with comics, there's going to be a focal point for the story as well. So you really got to read into the panel and how it's going to translate to the reader itself. And if it's not compositionally correct, or the colors don't pop enough, like you could make it compositionally correct, but the colors could be really dull at your focal point, that's going to completely ruin it. So it's kind of half and half. But most of the time, for most things, because obviously comics do kind of follow a character, a main character, a protagonist, antagonist, you really got to use your characters correctly for the focal point. So in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is I try and find the focal point first and work around that.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And to what extent, like, do you lean a lot on cinema or anime or that sort of thing, or are you just approaching it as its own, like comic books as its own form, or I suppose what are the influences that you draw on when you're composing a piece? So
in terms of pop culture, I didn't actually start drawing pop culture until I saw Cardcaptors, which is a 90s anime. Very girly, very like cute. Only got 2 seasons back then. They finally popped out a 3rd season and 2 movies. So recently, but But in terms of like westernizing, I didn't get into that until many years later. And then I started touring for Supernova and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like a bit of a mesh between them. But then also my traditional like portraiture painting and oils and acrylics and watercolor and stuff like that, taking influences from that I learnt, like Impressionism from high school, and then putting that into the work that I do now as well, especially for my coloring. It's all about creating an atmosphere. It doesn't necessarily have to be technically perfect, but if it's creating the atmosphere with the colors and the shadows, and while they're not sitting 100% correctly, that's kind of an influence from that era, if that makes sense. So I don't feel like I fit into a box anyway, and I'm happy to just mold with however I feel and whichever direction I go in terms of my influences. So yeah, like for now, like I'm huge into black sad, as many people probably know, and that's all watercolor. And yeah, it's like huge.
For those that don't know, what is the black sad? What
black sad? Okay, let me quickly grab it. Oh, if I can reach it or wherever it's gone.
We need elevator music. Sizzle, we need it. Okay.
I wish just let you do music. That would be nice.
Anamorphic, like super anamorphic storyline. Like if you see, let me grab it. So it follows like a Black Panther pretty much, but everything is like super like detailed and crazy.
Oh wow.
Like really beautiful. Like it's won a heap of awards. And it's all like very political, following like a lot of like current state of the world stuff, but obviously tweaked to fit an anamorphic kind of world. So that's like I appreciate the art that's involved in that. It's definitely not easy to do, especially facial expressions for animals, which I learnt with young Rufus. So yeah.
That's amazing. So young Rufus, Killaroo, Lana Luisa.
Yep.
Let's talk about maybe we talk about what you're doing with young Rufus first, and then we'll move to Lana Luisa, because I'm really obviously I can see the connection now with the bunny ears, I presume, and horns and such. And, you know, but yeah, so what were you doing with young Rufus? Was it the whole issue?
No, so young Rufus, the Tales of Young Rufus was I think I got that correct, is a combination of different artists putting together short stories. So it was for young adults or children. So kind of touching base on some issues that kids would come across, whether it's inclusivity or sharing or finding your place or understanding yourself, like very simple short stories, but they kind of hit close to home to a lot of for the younger readers, which is nice. And plus it's kind of brings into like Australian native and then the Indigenous community and stuff like that. So it was really fun to work for. And it was a bit of an eye-opener for me as well, because I didn't actually draw enough Aussie stuff or people of colour. I didn't draw either. So it was not only a good challenge, but it was a good for me to kind of, bring myself back down and really broaden my horizons a little bit. So I really appreciated working on it.
Great. Fantastic.
Very cool.
And Lana Luisa, so you've got a Kickstarter coming up in the near future. You've run one Kickstarter already. So this is issue 2 of Lana Luisa. Why don't you tell us a bit about the project? Because the artwork is amazing and I love it and it's really, really cool. But yeah, why don't you give us a bit of a picture? How did you happen upon it? Where did Lana come from? Yeah.
So Lana was a little bit of a manifestation about all the stuff that I liked. I think I created her 2010, maybe, like quite a while ago. And it was just always like a character that I kind of drew and was just like, maybe I should make a story about this. I don't even know. I'm not the particularly best writer at all. I can come up with all these fantastical ideas inside my head, but actually writing a proper dialogue for it is not my strength. And I know my strengths, it's not one of them. So it was kind of just sitting in the background for a little bit. And then I moved to Sydney, where I was studying a lot more illustration stuff over there. So that kind of got put onto the back burner again. It wasn't until I came back and kind of thought like, yeah, okay, let's knuckle this down. And then I hooked back up with my animation lecturer, Tanya, who used to teach me. And I kind of trusted her because not only did she understand the industry strongly, but it was also I to her in terms of direction that she would take and understand the folklore and stuff like that as well. So I'm not super like crazy knowledgeable about it all, but she was, and that's why I trusted her with it way more than I would probably be able to do myself. So very lucky to be working with her. So in terms of like the ears and the horns and stuff is based off a jackalope, which is a mythology creature. And where does it sit? Like there's whether it sits in dark or if it sits in light, you're not too sure, right? So it's just a sort of an entity that sort of exists and never, from what I know, never really fit anywhere. Just kind of like a cool creature, right? And it's about like finding your place in the world and whether you're struggling internally, whether you're good or bad. And I think it's exploring that and all the ups and downs of life and all the different entities that can kind of come from different folklores, and they kind of merge together into this crazy underworld, two-sided black and white versus color type stuff. So it's got a huge arc in terms of blood ties. So blood ties the first arc, and then we'll obviously expand onto the next series. Kind of like season 1 is blood ties, season 2 will be something else. So pulling a lot of things from different, like whether it's Greek or if it's just it could be anything that in terms of that. So like witches and whatever. And I think she's sort of just stuck in this limbo land pretty much.
Yeah, I love the way first impressions. I love the way it's just not explained, that she just appears, and you as a reader you don't even care. Like you're in the story, and you know that there's something weird going on, and you know that there's kind of, it's real but it's not real, or there's another reality meshing or whatever might be the case. I really like that. I like, rather than the classic, this is Lana, and she got horns, and let's explain the backstory. It just getting straight into it was really interesting. I found, and the artwork again was great. It was just to kind of hit you right in the face, and I think the black and white thing that you were talking about, there's a lot of depth with that. If you've got a character that sort of sits in between and isn't exactly one way or the other, there's a lot of flexibility with what you can do with the character, and all that. And so am I right in saying, so some of the characters are, I don't want to give too much away, but some of the characters are not monochrome, but
muted.
Muted colors, which contrasts really vividly with Lana and with other characters. That's a really, really cool mechanism for kind of pushing things to the background and foreground. That was really cool. I haven't seen that a lot in comic books. Maybe I'm not reading the right ones, but I haven't seen that a lot. So I think that's really cool.
Well, I think a lot of people rely too much whilst inking and character development and storytelling and the sequentials are quite prominent in terms of telling a story, but forgetting about color theory and what colors can make you feel. Red, anger; blue, calm; like yellow, happiness. Muted just means sort of just meh. Like it's it does create a bit more of a scene and also an environment, and people should harness that ability a little bit more, definitely.
It was really cool. And I suppose with they have colorists and all of these sort of, obviously in comics, but in film I know that they have like the person that just spends the whole time on color, and that's all they do, and every scene, different color palette and all the rest of it. Really interesting. Anyway, sorry, I've monopolized the conversation. You go, Sizzle.
No, my turn. Well, my turn's going to be, actually, there's a question from the audience. I thought I'd throw that in there. We try to encourage audience participation.
Oh, what's the Perth comic scene like over there, Lauren? Is there monthly meetups or anything like that? From what I know, there's one called the Curtin Illustration Club. So Curtin University, they do meetups all the time, and they have like an online forum. I do kind of keep tabs on it. I'm not part of the group, but I do like to keep tabs on what they're doing, because the stuff that they're creating is incredible. Nathan has been smashing out some incredible indie work. I know Justin Randall and Gesto Publishing is here as well. So they do Telguard, Into the Deep, stuff like that. So those guys have been smashing it out, and they're only about 15, 20 minutes away from my house. But in terms of like meetups and stuff like that, not too much. It is kind of isolated over here. Like you can't just sort of going to the city is not like the easiest thing ever here, because we're all suburbia. Okay. So in terms of like meeting up and whatever, it's not so much. But people are super eager. Like if there's ever a chance to actually do a meetup or a convention or make our own convention, it goes hard. I remember when Supernova first came over here, and I did one of the first ones in 2016, I think it was, or 2015. And it just freaking went bonkers, because not only, I think it's the same year that we had I think it was either the same year or the year after, there was the big mining boom here. And we had like all the big fellas that loved Dragon Ball Z and loved anime and the Spider-Man and Hulk and stuff like that. And they just like were so keen to get into the industry, into the community for it. And it was really nice to see. Yeah. And they just kind of went nuts. And from there on, like no convention has ever been the same for me in terms of not only success, but just engaging with the community a little bit more. So I'd love, like, that's what I miss the most about Sydney, is just the accessibility to be able to meet up with people so easily. But other than that, like I love Perth. It's just really nice for family and for Lockie and I to be living here and owning a home and stuff like that. Like it's just a bit more stability here. But with the internet and stuff these days and doing stuff like this, I think COVID's really opened up our eyes in terms of what's achievable, and we don't actually need to meet up in person. Like we can just create a little group room chat. So a bit more comfortable in terms of that.
Cool. Well, the other question that Darren asked, so this would be a good plug for anyone who's doing this. Is anyone Lana Lu in Perth?
Just one, which is around the corner from me. We only have, I think it's three comic book stores. Sorry, we've got two in the city and one around the corner from me. And there is also like another one called Fan Base Collectibles, but they're more like just collectibles, not so much comics. I think they just kind of do like your hardbacks and stuff like that. But in terms of big comic book stores, we don't really have any, which like I miss Sydney.
Sounds
for
like
that, so
Brisbane.
it's a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sad, but maybe I should just open up one for myself.
So, Lauren, what's your, if, 5 years down the track, 10 years down the track, whatever you're thinking, what would be the dream job that you would you be doing a lot more art? Would you be managing a team that does art? Would you be animation? What would you think? It doesn't have to be one thing, but where would you love to be? What would be the dream gig?
Well, I'm super ambitious, and I think that's kind of kicks me in the butt sometimes because I just don't have enough time in the day and forget to see my family every now and then. So I would love to get into animation a little bit more. Like I love traditional animation, frame by frame stuff is just, I absolutely adore it. So I'd like to kind of expand on that a little bit. But funny you say, like I would actually really like to start up my own publishing company. After working for my job now, they do a lot of print and design. And seeing the level of quality they do for a lot of clients and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a missing piece in Perth, especially just to have someone they can talk to, whether it's graphic novel, children's book, or similar, something that tells through pictures, like a story through pictures is something that I'd like to sort of assist people with. Because like you probably know, Shane, like doing publishing, it's hard yards, like making sure that the print's right, the colors right, the types right, the promotion and paper stock. Like people half the time don't even know what GSM means. So it's just like be able to lend that assistance to other people, because I know when I was younger, I had no idea what it was. 2 years ago, I had nearly close to no idea what it was. So it's a whole new world. And I think it's sort of like a ability that should be passed to other people, because the talent that they have needs to be shown. And if they're getting it printed in really bad quality, then that kind of makes me sad. So I would love to do that. But then also just make sure that Lana kind of becomes a graphic novel more so than just a 22-pager. Like our plan was to do a 22-pager every year in between our daily lives. And then once we got to the point where we had over 100 pages, we would just reprint it as a graphic novel, as a hardback. So that's something that we kind of have on the horizon too. Yeah.
So you're busy. Yeah, you've got a fair bit on there, and it's interesting you're saying on the publishing side as well, because I think there are, like you say, a lot of creators and artists and just have no idea about the publishing side, but also don't really have the time to invest or don't see the importance, or you know, I want someone else to help me with that, because you know, I just want to make the thing. I want to make it as good as I can. But you're right, if it then gets out there and the quality's shoddy and it's, you know, not aligned right and colors are off, and yeah, that's a really big area. Sure.
I've said in a couple of the drink and draws and stuff is about working in retail has been a huge benefit for me. Like it's made sure that I know what quality is. I know how to sell something to someone and the psychology behind it. So if you have someone that's got really bad print quality versus someone who's got really, really good print quality, you pick it up, you can feel the difference. And you know, like whilst the interiors could be different, like the good quality print could be rubbish. And then the bad quality print could have something incredibly amazing in it. But people, they like tangible items. They like to feel stuff that feels good and then feels worthy for them to pick up. So I know it's a bit snobby and stuff, but that's people, right? You've got to be able to cater to them.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we've got another person in the audience asking a question. It's just about how many books have you worked on? I'm guessing this is a pretty trying to remember them all.
Not too many, actually. I think I've just been sort of doing a lot more commission stuff other than that. But young Rufus and old man Rufus, I've been doing. Bulk Comics, I'm on to just about to finish the second issue working for them. Obviously Lana, I've been working on as well. But then just like bits and pieces here and there. In terms of interiors, not too much on interiors, but not too much on covers. But like any pin-ups and stuff like that I've more worked on, and people's character commissions and stuff like that. So more contributing to their world in general. But I feel like my place in terms of doing interiors is sort of like growing quite substantially, and cover work and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see taking all the experience that I've got over the past 12 months and applying it to other projects for other people would be awesome.
Awesome. Fantastic. Did you say Bolt then? I didn't catch you say
Bolt. Yeah, the electrifying Bolt. So it's a Andrew Tribe's book. It's another young adult / kids one. So it's about it's very comical, slapstick kind of superhero one where Bolt thinks he's really cool, but he's kind of trips over himself quite a lot and kind of gets in the way of other superheroes are trying to do their job. So it's a lot of fun. The one that I've been working on has been quite good.
Sounds awesome.
So yeah, there's a lot in the pipeline for those guys. They've got a couple of other artists on boards. It's definitely worth having a look at, and probably a good guest for one of the drink and draws if you ever want to get them on, because another.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah. We've got a fan here.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
So Lauren,
it looks like I'm saying hello. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
That's me.
Hi. Lauren, what's the thing that you hate most about what you're doing about illustration and drawing and comics? What's the thing that if you could skip it every time, you would absolutely do it?
Admin. Social media. I'd love to skip. Like it's hard yards. It's like they want you on there, but if you want to be on there and succeed, you just got to go like really hard for it. But I think going from roughs to cleanups, I find quite frustrating because I feel like I'm drawing the same thing again. If I'm doing roughs to inks, that's fine. But if I'm doing roughs, cleanups, and inks, cleanups can be a little bit frustrating for me sometimes because I could like come back to a panel, be like, "No, I'm redrawing it," which means I have to do roughs and cleanups again, and then as soon as inks roll around, then I'm all right. So I think that's the most tedious part of it, I think.
So you don't want to be covering the same ground again and
No,
again.
I need to get it done. I need to get it like published, get it out the door. But no, I'm just too much. I'm too much of a like. I just need to make sure everything's like spot on. And then half the time, once I finish the project, I'm like, everything's crap. But anyway, it's done.
I think that's pretty normal. That's a normal.
It's pretty
thing.
normal, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got another question for you as well. This is being more interactive than I expected. This one would be, who would you get to voice Lana Luisa in an animated version?
Whoa.
Ooh. Someone like a little bit like rusty voice, kind of like ScarJo, or I don't know, someone who's got a little bit of a raspiness to them. I'm terrible with actors or voices or whatever, but yeah, I think like a girl that's not a girly girl at all. Like it just need to be someone that's kind of just gonna, they're gonna punch you in the face if you mess with them, kind of thing. So I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Recently, I actually got a voiceover for Dee done. Dee's one of the characters for the promotional video for issue 2.
Wow.
So playing around with that and seeing, like, I'm going to ask for a couple. Yeah, Lucy Lawless, yeah. Julia, I'm going to play around with a couple of them because it's a particular, like for me, if it was Dee, I would have Bruce Willis for sure because he kind of has that. That's kind of the influence they got for his character design. And then like Chase would be like, oh God. No, I was going to say Jake Gyllenhaal. Like they look the same, but they don't sound the same. Like Jake Gyllenhaal's got a little bitch voice. Like, sorry, just swearing.
He's nothing he doesn't watch.
Sorry, Jake. You're cute, but no. I don't know. They're all quite like melancholy characters, except for the secondary characters. They kind of bring the high back in, but it's all quite a bit moody.
Wow.
Well, we've got a very hard question here from Spedsy. Very unpredictable.
Hey, do you know what? I'm gonna give this to you, Spedsy. I'm gonna give it to you. So we came up before the show started. So it's called Lana Luisa. So it would be a Lu version of the toilet. No, yep. Because I want you to create it and do it for me. Yep.
Lana Luisa. There you go.
Sorry, I'm reading the comment. I didn't understand that one, so I won't bring it up. I don't understand. Maybe you'll understand it. Is it an intro?
Right, let's decipher. Jake has left. Oh, Jake, yeah. By Jake Gyllenhaal. Sorry, I'm not going to slide into his DMs anymore.
Sorry, that's right. That's why. Sorry, I totally forgot that comment.
We broke up. Sorry.
We got another one, or do you want? Can I go?
Oh, we've just got the Lana Lu.
Yeah, see? Yes, Devil's Toilet, and because she's got horns, it just makes sense. Let's do this. Crossover.
And we do have another one. So
cool.
Okay, so your art style is wonderfully unique. What's your take on developing one's art style, and how long did it take until you were satisfied with your own art style? I'm not satisfied, for one. But in terms of creating your own, I think a lot of people, and I still fall victim to this quite a lot, is especially when I'm looking for references and I see this reference I absolutely love. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, I just basically have to replicate it because as an animator, that was what we had to do. We had to if we wanted a job, you had to be able to replicate someone's work. Like they gave you a model sheet and you had to do it toe for toe. But I think it's being able to take little golden nuggets from stuff, applying it to your work, and then being like, okay, what feels natural to me? For me, what's natural for me is angular and different line weights and just a lot of detail and just making it a bit more full on. But in saying that, like my stuff's not 100% unique. Like a lot of my influences, Rob from Sketchcraft, Somariva, Yarden taught me a lot about anatomy. And then just a lot of those influences just sort of like merged together. I think there comes a point where you stop relying on not only you don't stop relying on those people. I still ask them for a lot of advice, but the references and stuff like that, being like, this is where I want to be. And then as soon as you get comfortable enough, and then you'd be like, okay, I'm kind of liking where I am now. I'm gonna leave that be for a little bit. I'm just gonna keep developing what I'm working on now, and then expanding my horizons in terms of I'm gonna go look at Aaron Blaise from Disney, or Tom Bancroft, or like anybody else that's like completely different, and then you can kind of take little golden eggs, like I said, from all of them. So it's a never-ending development. And I think if you look at any artist that you admire and go back even 3 years, 5 years, you'll see that their art is probably a little bit different, because it's not going to change. There's always going to be that little uniqueness about it. And then that's mainly because of whether it's the way you hold your pen, or what kind of ink you use, or what brush pen you use on Clip Studio or Photoshop or whatever. But other than that,
do you go through phases with that as well? Like, do you go through a phase where you discover something different and you think, I'm just going to do that for a while because it seems really cool?
I don't think phases. I feel like I'll discover something and then I'll go ham on it for a little while. Like when I did that Spider-Verse piece, I found this Tombow pen that was incredible. Like, I love a good stiff brush pen. I don't like the flimsy stuff, like especially paint brushes I find I struggle with. But then I found that and I'm like, I'm not going back. My style hasn't changed, but the level of detail I can get for it is kind of elevated quite a lot now. Against you, I don't know, it's it.
Not a question, just a comment on your art.
Just a comment, yeah. But he's correct. Like, I'm way more comfortable and proud of what I put out now, and like, I know that's me. I know it's hard. Like, a lot of people are just so fixated on creating this style for themselves and having this uniqueness and whatever. But like I said, you gotta one day. I feel like there's always going to be some kind of relation to another artist, because that's what we do. We uplift each other, we influence each other, and if you don't have inspiration, it's just not going to happen, right? Like, I think, it's just, I don't know, it's an ever developing thing.
Cool. Yeah. And we've got quite a few questions.
Indie titles that you like to work on cover interior. Oh God, so many.
So many.
I obviously want to participate a lot in obviously the AusComX stuff. 100%, I would love to. And then Kayleen's piece, Blue Star Rebellion, I would really like to do. I actually been really digging her stuff, and that's like a webtoon, so that's sort of something new for me. And the cover art and whatever is not really a thing for that. But like, I know that she obviously wants to put that to print, but that's something that I would really love to participate in, because my palette is very purple. You'll find a lot of my stuff always has this purple tone through it, which I think I've kind of become quite comfortable with. And her palette is quite blue through that whole series, and I kind of feel gravitated towards that. So I love color. Like, I absolutely love color. I love color theories. So I gravitate a lot towards that sort of stuff quite a lot.
You can tell reading Lana Lu. You can,
Lana Lu, big time.
Yeah. Well, so Kayleen did all the colors for Lana, but obviously with like a palette direction and stuff like that. But all the cover art and stuff is myself. So kind of juggling between the two.
And someone, Mark, I think it is, has prompted you to do a bit of a plug for yourself.
Oh, a bit of a self-pump.
And I'll just bring up wrong button. I'll just bring up this for everyone.
Hey.
So the pre-launch page, Lana Lu Blood Ties 2. So this is the second episode or issue of this arc. Hopefully be about 6 or 7 of them. It's now on a pre-launch page on Kickstarter, so sign up, get those numbers up for the followers for that one. But looking at the 4th of January to release it on a 20-day Kickstarter, nice and short and sweet. I don't want people waiting, and I'm hoping to have majority of the project done before then. So luckily I have 2.5 weeks off over Christmas, which will be fantastic for me to have a little break, but then really focus on my stuff. I think this whole year I've been sort of focusing on everyone else. So I think it was March last year that the first issue of Lana got released, so it's nearly bearing on 2 years since the first one came out. So
oh really?
Yeah, it's gonna be really good
Doesn't
for me
feel
to
like
be able
it.
to. I know, it's crazy. But yeah, I think that 2 weeks off, I'm just gonna be sort of Seattle. Amazing.
Animation.
Nice.
Yeah.
So having that time off to be able to focus on my own stuff, it's gonna smash it out, and the girls are excited to be able to be on board again. So yeah.
And will that Kickstarter have the first issue and the second issue so people could get both?
Yes.
And catch up? Sweet.
Yeah, 100%. So there's going to be, you can either get the digital versions because obviously we're having a lot of trouble with AusPost getting stuff overseas, which stinks. But if any of overseas friends are able to help, I'm going to try and hook up with them to be able to ship out physical copies if they get it printed over there. So that's one way to jump around it. If not, then there's going to be also 3D printed models of Lana as a little bonus, which could be cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah, so Lockie and I invested in a resin 3D printer, which is incredible. The stuff pumps out some really cool quality, and you can get different colored resins. You can get like green, purple, fluoro yellow, black.
Wow.
And the quality is way better than doing the plastic. So a little bit more smelly, but it's actually not too bad. So
Interesting to know.
Resin, yes. It's like walking into a nail salon out the back. It's like, oof, God. But yeah, no, that's interesting. So I'm kind of playing with some new ideas in terms of bonuses. Yeah, it's good. Bonuses in terms for Kickstarter, because everyone kind of gets them. You get stickers, you get pens, whatever. I'm kind of looking at stuff that you potentially wouldn't get, and I want to make this a little bit more exciting for people.
That sounds so cool. Little minis. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually good. You can get like decent. You can get decent size, like maybe like I think it's like 15 centimeters is like the max height you can get. Like it's fairly decent.
Oh
wow!
Yeah, like it gets quite a good chunky amount in. Yeah,
that's so cool.
I'll be all over that. I want myself a Lana Luisa.
Sweet.
Well, that's all the questions so far on there. I've just posted your link to everyone as well. So to the
awesome.
Lana too.
Sign up. Yeah, cool.
Sweet.
Oh, here we go. Mark's like, yep. Where do I sign?
Yeah, no, it's and it's actually quite affordable too. So, because obviously we're doing it in house. So you'll see when it launches in January.
Fantastic.
Can't wait.
Yep.
All right. We got time for a couple more questions, or are we where are we at?
No, couple more questions. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Sweet. Okay, so I don't want to do like favorite film, favorite food, all that sort of stuff, because that's everyone does, that sort of stuff. But what's your favorite film? Or your favorite food, or both.
Film and food, or together? What
food do I eat during my favorite thing to eat while you're watching your favorite film? Yeah, that's what makes it different. What's the favorite thing to eat while you're watching your favorite film?
Okay, chicken nuggets, Fifth Element.
Oh,
Fifth Element.
Excellent choice.
Wow.
I can't like that. Have you seen when SBS, overseas people, SBS is kind of like a government funded whatever channel, and then they play that's one day of the year where they just continuously play Fifth Element over and over and over again.
All day.
And I love it.
I've done that day.
So
I've done that day.
Oh, it's so good. And you're just like, okay, I'm done. And then you come back at night time, you turn it on, and Chris Rock's is just like,
Is this Element the one though? Because you know how someone will ask you, what's your favorite film? And in your head you're going, oh God, what's the smartest sounding film that I could say? So, but reality is it's going to be the Fifth Element, because if I see that thing, I'm going to watch it. Guaranteed. Yeah. There's something about 100%. It. It's the way it's all put together, and
it's a masterpiece.
Weird and wonderful, and yeah.
The other thing is Hellboy, either 1 or 2. I don't care which one. It's the character design.
Nice.
It's the idiocy, the jokes, the just like the cheesiness. It was so well done.
What is it? The Goblin Town in the second one, where that thing is amazing.
And the crazy woman that eats the canaries.
Fantastic.
And I think my favorite guy is the guy that's got like no neck and he's just like this fat blob and he's just got these like weird long fingers. And I'm like, well, that looks like me in the morning. How you going?
Yeah, so good. I have things to watch now. Again, I got to find them again.
Oh, so many questions coming through.
There's a question.
Lana,
this one's a question. The others are comments.
I've actually submitted Lana to a couple of publishers, but I don't blame them for not getting back to me because she's not quite at the level that probably needs to be for a publisher. But I feel like the second issue is going to kind of refine a lot of it. So once we have a couple of issues under our belt and actually have something a little bit more substantial, then definitely be throwing it out to a lot more publishers and seeing if like Image or whatever kind of jumps on board. But no hope. Like I feel like maybe if it does get signed up for a publisher, I kind of might lose a little bit of creative control. And I am quite funny about that. But I mean, the support and stuff would be fantastic. So you'll see how you go. Like I know Sweeney Boo's Eat and Love Yourself is she kind of created that herself and it kind of exploded, but she did sign up with someone else, obviously, because she is so popular. But I kind of feel like I might want to keep a hold of it for a little bit longer.
Nice.
Yeah, and there are, some of the publishers, there seems to be a lot of them around now that they'll only really pick up like a graphic novel because they want it done and they want a certain size, which is, I mean, that's so much investment before you even get a shot at it.
Yeah, but, and I feel like it's so much more easier once it's all done, and then you can be like, you want this or you don't want it. Here it is. Like it's already done. And I'll just sort of sort out the 22-page issues in my own time up until that point.
Nice.
Awesome.
What was that?
Is that a bird or a cricket?
I was going to say that was well timed. We all go quiet and there's a cricket.
Look at me, my window's open.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks, Lauren. That's been really cool, really interesting. There's so much there. I love the color theory stuff, and you're so knowledgeable, obviously, in so many different areas. Really, really cool.
Oh, definitely.
To hear from you about that stuff.
It's good. I feel like a big tool in this industry is knowledge, and just finding out more knowledge about it. But not only that, but getting hands-on with everything. Like, don't be afraid to get your hands grubby. Like, and I'm not saying art stuff, but also this kind of stuff, like not being afraid to get on screen, being a little bit more comfortable in public speaking. Obviously, I was lucky enough to have that in school. I did drama, I did public speaking and stuff like that, and a lot of family that support me to be able to do this kind of stuff. But if you kind of want to have like that all-rounder and probe like information from people like yourself or on Drink on Joe and stuff like that, I think it's quite useful. And then not only for promotion and networking and stuff like that, like I think it all kind of merges together. And it's a big world and it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes, and you succeed in more areas than other. But it's we're kind of all grinding together, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I guess this is a part of the show where me and Morgan have a bit of a surprise for you.
Oh,
I forgot when we're doing this.
Surprise. Let's go.
We have gifts.
Oh,
gifts.
yay!
Yeah, don't get too excited.
So don't get too excited. Okay, you want to go first, Morgan?
Yeah, but
I can do it. I can bring it up. I'll bring it up.
Okay,
I'll
good,
bring it up.
because I thought you were going to make me steer, and I don't want to steer.
No, I'll steer.
The idea is, and it's exclusive to the ComX podcast. I mean, no one else gets this. Every person that comes on, particularly if they're an artist, we draw a version of one of their main characters. Now, the rules are we have 10 minutes. We have to do it freehand. No sketching.
10 minutes? I thought it was an hour. Oh no, I went
Yeah.
way over time.
Yeah, I can, you wait till you see Sizzles. He spent a lot more time on that than I did on my wonderful thing.
Sabotage.
Anyway, so we both had a crack at drawing Lana. Mine looks like I was blindfolded, but it's they're signed. So I mean, these are going to be exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
Limited edition.
my version of Lana.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Because she has the ears.
Yeah.
And it's like a wolf, but it's not. She's not a wolf. So
No,
that's mine.
She's got the cleavage
And-
to kill, so it's great.
Yeah, that's where I
took a
started.
little
That's
bit
my
longer than
focus.
the 10-minute rule that I did.
moved out from there.
I took a little
But
bit
look
more
at
than
Sizzle,
10 minutes.
Sizzle is really good. So you show yours now. This hour long thing.
Yes.
Look at the detail.
She's been doing some bicep curls, boy.
Yeah. She's got abs on her. Abs, man.
Oh my god, this is so good. I love it. This is amazing.
And we'll send those to you. They're exclusive copies just for you.
They're gonna go. I need a little I got a little space here for you. I'll make it.
So everyone can see them. Yeah, that's the
Me, especially. It's so cute. I love it. Thank you guys. It's so nice and thoughtful.
You're most
Pleasure.
welcome.
It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. Now everyone's gonna know it's not a surprise anymore.
It's not surprising. Well, you're the only one who got the
You're the
surprise.
best. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much for coming on and chatting with us. It was a real pleasure. And sharing your knowledge, because you are very knowledgeable in what you do. So I always love that, hearing what you've got to say about everything.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you for being our first guest on the relaunch of the AusComX Show. Yes,
Thank
awesome
you.
first guest.
Woo!
A lot of interaction. A lot of people wanted to talk to you. And speaking of which, let's just check there's not anything else happening. No, it looks good. Awesome, guys. Yeah. The pew pew sells it.
If anybody has questions, hit me up on socials like Instagram or Facebook. I'm happy to answer anything. So
Yep,
it's
that's
all
your
about
Insta
yes,
down there.
the martial arts. Yeah, you can. That's either Facebook or Instagram. But as the infamous Lee says, community is unity. So let's go.
Yeah, too true.
Yeah,
Too true.
very good. Well, we'll go to the next section now. So see you later, Lauren. Very much appreciated you coming
No
on.
problem. Bye.
Lauren.
Thanks, guys.
And I will go to the right button. You'd think I know this by now from doing this drink and draw.
You got
It's
this.
just
I
a
believe
well-polished
in you.
machine.
Well-polished machine here. It's all
Yeah.
ums and ahs all the way. Cool. Well, see you, Lana. Lauren. Sorry.
Bye.
Oh, God. I knew I'd do it eventually.
Bye.
See you, Lauren.
See you, Lauren.
I warned you at the beginning I was going to do that. Okay, cool. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye. Now, this is where me and Morgan talk about some comics that we've read. Hopefully, Morgan read some comics. I read one. So,
I thought the deal was
first of
we were
all,
gonna do
I'd like to
one
show
thing.
off this one because we just
Hey.
talked to. And I got to bring my screen up. We just talked to Lauren, and this is her first one. I got the Kickstarter. It's bloody awesome. What I would say most about it, though, is when I finished reading it, I craved more of it. More. So I am absolutely hanging out for the 4th of January now. So,
Sweet.
yeah. I won't go into more detail than that because it's been a while since I read it, so it's all very vague. But I do remember coming out of it thinking, this is too short. There needs to be more of it. So you want to go first, Morgan?
Yeah, I'll go first. So this is Angry Squad.
Oh,
By
nice
Lucas.
choice.
Yeah, by Lucas Sheffel. Sheffel, I'm sorry, buddy, if I get it wrong. I haven't.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Anyway. But Lucas, look at that. So, yes, the pages and such. Oh God, I should have rehearsed this.
You're doing so well.
Couple of things I love about this story. First of all, anything that takes a super old dude that's badass. I think it's fantastic, and I love the concept of obviously it was in sort of dedicated to his father, and that there's a film story behind it before this. I think Lucas put together a film, but I love the story, and anything that's unexpected like that with an old dude, and just the the red tracksuit and it's great fun, really good read. And he's got, I think, another Kickstarter coming out soon. But yeah, that was a great read. So recommend it. Angry Squad. Angry Squad.
Yeah, Angry Squad. Yep, there was a number 2 that came out just a while ago, actually. So yeah.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I haven't got the second one yet.
I don't know if I've got it actually, because I have a huge pile of to be read. So if I've got it, it's in that pile. Okay, in my slack ass. I wasn't feeling well today, so that's my main reason for this. But I read one. And the one that I read, we got a Bronwyn cough cough. We got a... Oh, sorry. She did mention the shop, Zach. But yeah. So mine is... I gave this one a read because it just arrived the other day and it was on the top of the pile. I was going to read all 3 because it came in a pack of 3. But I only got a chance to read. Yeah, so I'll just flick through some of the pages here because this art is so cool. And the bone dog and the zombie story. You got to love a good zombie story.
Oh,
it's just,
oh wow.
It's just so cool.
It looks like it's painted.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure how it was done, but it's very shiny paper.
Nice.
And it might be digitally painted. I'm not sure. I can't tell this sort of stuff. That's not my forte. And I just realized I am on the big screen still. And yeah, so great fun. Great fun. I love the art. It's very different than anything I would normally read art-wise. I love the little warning on the front. Let's see if my camera will pick that up. No, it won't. Explicit content, yay. so there's a bit of swearing in there for so not really a kid's story, even though there's a dog called, is it Bob? Yeah, Bob the dog, and Bob is a she. So I find that that made me laugh a little when I found out that Bob was a she.
And it's got salty language.
Salty language, and just the art on the cover sums it up, really. That's the art all through it. And it's just a classic. Like, that is that's not his hair. That is a record. That he takes out of his...
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, I thought it was hair when I first read it. It's actually a record that he takes out of his head and plays fetch with the dog.
Who's it by?
Oh, yeah, DK. DK Art. I should probably put a thing up on the bottom here. I meant to organize all this before I started and then forgot about it. Banners. That's all right. Because she does have a website. DK Art Studios. You probably should have done the same for your book as well.
I'll just hold it up again while we're waiting.
So there she is. That's her site. I believe that's her shop as well. There is 3 what do you call it? Episodes or issues. 3 volumes. She calls them volumes. 3 volumes. The one after this is twice the size. I read the cover. It's twice the size of this one. So a little bit more value. I haven't read it yet, but that was a lot of fun. Zombies, cool art, cool concept. And you've got to find out somehow these 2 skeleton creatures are hunted by zombies. So there's something different about them that has made them not turn into zombies when they got bit. And that's, I guess we find out in the other issues what's going on. Because you see here, you can't really see it on the screen there, but they've both, inside the skeleton, have got a heart. And that's apparently why the zombies are after them. They've still got a heart.
Have they got brains?
Well, going by the record, I don't know. If the record's got they've got tongues. The dog's got a tongue. He licks
they've got tongues. So yeah, maybe the
tongues and hearts.
A bit partial to tongues and hearts.
Yeah, they must be. But that's the one I read. So check out that site that's there, dkcarterstudios.com. Fun little book. DK's actually been on Drink and Draw, and she's a lot of fun. She drew the Trevor with the leaf over his bits, doing a nice little muscular pose. So yeah, she's a lot of fun as well. So her books are just as fun as her, I guess.
Nice.
Over to you, Morgan. Did you read anything else, or you're as slack as me?
I read them all, but I think we should pace it out, for next week. We don't want to get, too much. Keep it exclusive, I
like it. Save yourself a bit of work next week. You only read one as well? Okay, cool.
Spread it out, We don't want to give
spread it
people
out
too
by,
much too early.
We'll just read
what
a
are we
bit
getting
more
paid
next
for
week.
this again? Is this?
Oh yeah, it's like
When do I get
$2 an hour? $2 an hour.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Sweet. Sounds good.
So it only goes. That's why I got to cut it off at exactly now. I can only afford $2, man.
I'll spend it well.
I have no idea what you can get for $2 these days.
Not much. Yeah.
And here is a good question for us, and I'm going to answer this one. Next week we have no idea. So I have spoken to a few people, and they've said they're going to come back to me. So whoever comes back to me first gets to be on next week. So if you're watching, people, you know who you are. You'll get to come on next week. Is this available at our shop? No, Lana's not at the ComX Shop, sorry to say. But that's a damn good question. I will talk to Lauren about that. But yeah, that's a good question. But I'll talk to Lauren about that and see what we can do about getting her in the shop so you can buy Lana Luca and other lovely things from all around Australia all in one shop. And do I have an ad for that in here?
You do, man. You do.
I do. I'm glad you know.
Yeah.
Nice little 10-second one. Let's go.
Bam. That was so quick.
I have everything on there.
Good advertising.
She is. There we go.
That's excellent.
Well, thank you, Morgan, for being my co-host tonight, and thank you for being part of the new show. I look forward to chatting with you again next week as we interview our mystery guests, because I don't know who they are.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone who watched. Thank you for all the questions. That was really cool. I wasn't expecting that much interest on our first show. So thank you very much to all of you. Check out Lauren's page. Fastest plug in the West. Yes, that was a very fast lad, that one. So check out Lauren Marshall's page just down there at the bottom. If you didn't see the links come up in the Facebook or the YouTube or the Twitch or wherever I've sent them all, you can just go to www.comx.vip/Lana2, and that will take you to her pre-launch page. Hit the notify button, and you will be notified when the Kickstarter goes live, which will be around early January, maybe the 4th. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Morgan. Everyone have a great night, and I believe we have an outro. Oh, yes, I do. We do. I love this outro.
We got everything. Okay. We got it all.
We've got everything. We've got it all. I'm just forgetful. So good night, everyone. Have a great night, and see you next week. Same time, same channel, I guess you could say. Bat channel, bat time. And night. See you all.
Good night.